Oh, I sat down without my coffee. There we go, much better. Hello friends, welcome back to another video. I just woke up and made my coffee and slapped on a bit of makeup, so you have to ignore my morning voice. But I wanted to get a quick sort of life update and book related video up for you guys. Hopefully it's not too echoey in here. The big life update news, if you haven't been watching any of my other videos, is that I did close on a house last month in June. Literally a week after finding out that I lost my job. So it's been an emotional time. It's been good. It's been crazy. It's been, you know, all the things that you would expect from, you know, emotionally losing your job and then finding out that you got the house, like all within, like, you know, I don't know, definitely a 2-week time span. So I don't know if you can tell, it's completely in disarray. I have barely set up the shelves at all. There's a paint swatch behind me that you can ignore. It is the top one, Oregon Trail by Benjamin Moore. I don't know how I feel about it. Welcome back, well, welcome to those updates. If you haven't been around for a couple of weeks, lots of exciting changes. We have some chicks that are absolutely adorable. We are not sure if they're boys or girls. We kind of just have to wait and find out. And my main priorities so far have been the bedroom, which is nearly done. I'm obsessed with the color. It's like a mauve, very romantic kind of bedroom. I will definitely be doing a bedroom makeover. The actual reason really why I wanted to sit down and make this video, I don't want to give you guys so much house content that I kind of lose track of book content, because obviously it's a booktube channel. The main reason why I sat down was to give you guys a few of some of the best books that I've read so far this year. I'm not going to take you through everything because we'd be here a while. Storygraph says I've read 40 books so far this year. So I'm 7 books behind because of everything that's happened. My brain, I've not been able to focus. I've DNF'd some books. It's one of those things where unfortunately my reading is impacted when I'm just all over the place emotionally. Okay, first up in January was The Rooftop by Fernanda Trias, is that right? I don't have author names. I just keep track of everything in like a quick little note. But this was wonderful. It's about a woman with agoraphobia, and she basically refuses to leave her apartment. And there are 3 things that are set up in the beginning that feel like ticking time bombs. And even though it's already a really slim book, it goes by so fast because of that. Like, not just the length of it, but like the plot. Her father is ailing, and so we feel like, you know, maybe he might get sick or pass away soon. She's like taking care of him in the apartment. They're about to potentially get foreclosed on because they haven't made a payment, like a rent payment, in a long time. And then she's also pregnant. And it's wonderfully written. It's from a Uruguayan author. Uruguayan? I forget every time. It's wonderful, highly recommend. And I do have Pink Slime somewhere over here on my list to read, because even though I've read for the country now, for Uruguay, for my Reading Around the World Challenge, I loved her writing so much. And Pink Slime is actually like a post-apocalyptic dystopian. Very excited for that one. I think I might actually like it more. So highly recommend The Rooftop, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw in Pink Slime, even though I haven't read it. It sounds amazing. The book club that I'm a part of, the Unseen Review, somebody recently read it and recommended it on there. So I feel like I should and shouldn't recommend The Blizzard. I forget the man's name. It's a Russian translated novel. It is just, I'll just say it's one of the most wackiest books that I've ever read. And it's like about a guy. It's one of those books where it's like he has a destination, but it's all about the journey and the things that happen along the way. It has almost like a Gulliver's Travels kind of vibe to it. It's about him getting caught in a snowstorm. He's trying to, I forget where he's like trying to go, but he's on like a sled or something, but it's being pulled by like these little birds that are like tiny instead of like horses. There's narcotics involved. Like there's one called the Sphere, there's one called the Cube, and it has some sort of like incense or smoke that will dissipate into the room, or evaporate. I don't know what word I'm looking for. Diffuse into the room. Everybody gets high, and he has like an existential like trip. It's crazy. If you just love a wacky book, and you don't really need a lot of like logic to it, then The Blizzard was quite interesting. Then in February, my absolute favorite was Jawbone. Oh my gosh. It's like Bunny meets Mean Girls. It's also kind of a folk horror. So good. It's about these like 4 or 5 girls. I think they're about 16, 17, something like that. They go to a private Catholic school and they're just running wild, and they find an abandoned building in the city. I think this one was for Ecuador for my Reading Around the World challenge. And it was just so good. They end up like, it's almost like they're playing house essentially in this abandoned warehouse. They make up all these rules, but one of them in particular goes a little bit bonkers. She's a little bit cuckoo. And she ends up making up this deity she calls the White God. And she makes up all these rules. Like if you enter the white room in this abandoned building, she makes the other girls, like they have to enter on all 4s. And before they leave, they have to like wash the floor with their hair. Weird, trippy, cool vibes, like culty vibes. And it's exceptionally written. It's one of those translated works where I'm like, how is this not written in English? Like it's translated so well that it just sounds like it was written in English originally. Highly, highly recommend. That's one of my favorites so far this year. Okay, the lighting may have changed a little bit because I had to charge the camera and check on the chickens and eat breakfast and all sorts of things. Also, I'm thinking this wall is gonna be all built-in bookshelves. Maybe, so we'll see. So It Would Be Night in Caracas is what I read for Venezuela for my Reading Around the World challenge. It's quite dark because it goes into the politics and the uprising and all sorts of things that are happening over there that are quite violent. We are following a woman who her house is taken over, her apartment is taken over by one of the gangs that's basically running the city, and she can't get back inside and all her things are there. So she ends up basically kind of taking over the apartment of a woman who she's pretty sure has passed away, and like kind of her identity too. Very interesting book. And it's quite short too, about war-torn countries, identity. The themes in it are a little heavy for sure. Like it's pretty violent. You're gonna hear about some war crimes and that kind of thing, but it was so good. I feel like if you're reading a lot of fluff, not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you are, this is like a really good one to you know, kind of get back into something a little bit deeper and darker. And that's basically auto-fiction because the author, it's very much kind of her story in a way. Then in April, I think it was probably The Unworthy. That was my absolute favorite. It's the new Augustina Bazterrica. I say it's new just because it just came out this year, but she wrote Tender is the Flesh, which kind of went viral. That one's about cannibalism. The Unworthy takes place in a convent, or like a former convent, but it's like post-apocalyptic. So now we are in what feels like not so distant future. And this convent is now used as just sort of a sanctuary for women who have nowhere to go, and they've kind of been like just on the run and kind of rambling around. It reminded me a little bit of Snowpiercer in the sense that like when the way that the poorer class lives, they're basically eating gruel. I feel like they're literally eating like mashed up crickets or something like that, and they're not treated very well. There's a whole hierarchy. I was taking notes. I had drawn like a little bracket in my notes to like keep up with the different like almost classes of women, and everybody wants to be the enlightened because that's like the tippy top. The women who get to be around the sort of cult leader. Again, this one has some really heavy cult vibes, and you get to be around this cult leader guy who I forget even what they named him. I think he had, or maybe he was unnamed. So good. Love her writing. It's very concise. She doesn't get too flowery, but sometimes she just has these lines that are so gorgeous. It still has some really dark themes. There's still a little bit of cannibalism, if I remember right. You have to like dark books in order to like that one, but I was fully, I don't know if you guys saw my video and the thumbnail, but I was like fully into that book. Like I immersed myself into that book because I'm such a big fan of her. I wish she wrote a little bit more often. She has another one, 19 Claws and a Blackbird, but it's short stories, and that one didn't really do much for me like the way Tender is the Flesh did. Ugh. But yeah, highly recommend The Unworthy. And then I think the highlight for May was between Orbital, which did win the Booker, this past year, or 2024, I think. It's a really pretty book. Like, it's definitely one of those books, it's very much written, I feel like, for the descriptions and for the kind of metaphorical language. It's gorgeous. I made sort of the reference that, and I think other people have made this reference too, it almost feels like the author just wrote the book as an excuse to stare at like Google Earth images for hours and hours and just write a book that kind of felt like an ode to nature and the beauty of nature. Obviously it is about the, I think, 6 astronauts that are up in space, orbiting space. It's like told in like a 24-hour time period, I think. I listened to the audiobook, which is really good. Yeah, so we do get a little bit of interiority and a little bit of kind of life stuff from some of the characters. I didn't really feel any, like, I didn't feel close with any of them. I wasn't necessarily rooting for any of them. And it tied with Pixel Flesh for, like, that would have been the nonfiction for May. So good. If you are finding yourself beating yourself up, particularly this one would be for women for sure. If you're kind of beating yourself up over like your appearance, and you know you're spending a little bit too much time on social media, particularly Instagram, the author really denounces social media. Like, she digs into basically the way that social media has impacted female mindset and how beauty culture, how it really preys on women's insecurities, and it's like $1 billion industry, and we feed into it, but it's because we feel like we need it, if that makes any sense. It was so good, very well researched. It does take on some pretty heavy themes because she's really exploring like what it means to be a woman in like modern times, like in 2025. Highly recommend. It will open your eyes for sure, and it will make you want to probably quit all social media. And I will say I have taken a big step back. I do not post on Instagram regularly. I've just become kind of disillusioned with it. I've never had TikTok and won't ever. I don't like short form content at all. I think it's horrendous for your brain. That was wonderful. And then in June, my favorite was probably Boulder by Ava Baltazar. I haven't been saying authors' names for these because some of them I don't remember. Boulder's great. It's part of a series technically, but you can read them like standalone. Part of her Triptych series. I think it's a triptych trilogy. I want to say Boulder is actually number 2, and I was so obsessed with her writing that I recently thrifted on Thrift Books Mammoth and Permafrost. I think Permafrost is the first one, and then Boulder, and then Mammoth. I could be wrong. Again, I don't think it really matters. And I've seen a lot of people on BookTube reading Boulder as a standalone and not even mentioning it being part of a series. It's so good. Like, some of the descriptions. I wish I had it on me so I could like flip through it and read you some of the one-liners. Her descriptions, it's so short, it's over. You could literally read it in one sitting. I think I read it in like one day, but 2 sittings. And it's about a woman who, she's very self-isolating. She wants to just like, she's a cook on a ship, and she just kind of wants to be out at sea, away from the world. And her name is Boulder, or her nickname is Boulder. We don't know her by any other name. That's our main character. And it kind of reflects how like cold she is emotionally and how distant she is from civilization. Like, she just wants to be distant from everybody. They end up like docking, and she's at a bar or like a restaurant or something one night, and she sees a woman and just like immediately falls for her. And so you actually watch over the course of, there's like a 5-year time jump, and then there's an 8-year time jump. So like 8 years total in such a slim book. So it goes by crazy fast, crazy pacing. It's a good like reading slump book. If you need to get out of a reading slump, I would recommend it. And yeah, it's about their relationship and how her significant other really wants a baby and Boulder really doesn't, but she doesn't say anything. So it's very much about relationships and communication, or lack of communication, and family dynamics and relationships. And anyway, but it's so beautiful. I'm very excited for Permafrost and Mammoth, because I've never seen a bad review, like literally not one. I have not seen somebody give a bad review of any of her books. She just has a way with words. And then I think for For July, because we're not quite done with July yet, at least at the time that I'm filming this, it's probably gonna be code dependent. I don't know. I say this loosely because it's not to the end of July yet. It's gonna be such a bad reading month. I'm gonna have to combine my July and August wrap up, I think, because I've read like almost nothing. But Code Dependent was one that I read again for book club for the Unseen Review, and it's all about AI, and it's absolutely terrifying, but it's so good, very well researched, and it's all about all these questions that we have and all these safeguards that really aren't in place, and all the horrific things that have already happened because of AI. The people who've had to train AI, those people have really suffered. It's usually people in third world countries, impoverished people. It's a disturbing read. I will say go into it, you know, being prepared emotionally to read about some really dark themes. But it was very informative, and I am really glad that I read it. And I think that's all for now because we're only halfway through the year. So stay tuned for eventually an office makeover as well. It's gonna be so much fun. I don't know what color though. I've just been so indecisive. I'll have to figure something out. I don't think it's gonna be this. A lot of exciting things are coming. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.